Have you ever saw a double bunk bed system that you fell in love with, but you weren't quite sure how to build it? Well, hang out with me for a few minutes. I'm going to show you how we built this one, and if you really like it, leave some comments below and let me know what you think. Let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out how much space you've got to work with. This is going to help you decide whether or not you're going to do a single bunk bed system or a double bunk bed system. Next, decide what kind of mattresses you want, whether or not you're doing a twin, twin XL, full, queen, etc. Then you're going to build everything to fit the mattresses that you have chosen. For this particular build, we did twin mattresses on the top, we did full mattresses on the bottom, and I started with building the mattress platforms first. Your standard twin mattress is going to be 38 inches wide and 75 inches long. When you're building your mattress platform, take into account to leave a little extra around the edges. That's going to give you room to be able to tuck your covers in. So for this build, we did 40 inches wide and 77 inches long. For the frame, we're using some standard 2x4s, and for the upper bunk bed, we used 1/2-inch plywood because it's going to be on the bottom. It's really more for looks, not a lot for structural strength. You could use a 1/4-inch plywood if you wanted to go a little bit cheaper, but I went with 1/2 inch because it's a little bit stronger. You may have noticed that I took one 2x4 and I ripped it in half. We are using that on the inside of the frame, which is what the wood slats are going to screw down to. For the slats, we were using 1x4 pine. Right here, we are building the platform for the full-size mattress. Again, we're building this a little bit bigger than your true dimensions, which are typically 54 inches by 75. So we went 56 by 77. Next up is going to be the columns that support the beds. And since this is a double bunk bed system, we needed 3 columns. We designed these columns to be a bit of an L shape, mainly because we wanted the top part of the column to be the same width as the twin size mattress platform that we built, and we wanted the bottom to be the same width as the full size. Again, we used 2x4s for the main part of the frame, and then we used some 2x6s, as you see right here. This is what the beds are going to sit on. So we cut notches out of the 2x6s so they set inside the frame, but kind of wrap around the outside to be the same width as the mattress platform. We're using 2x4s below and above each one of the 2x6s. This is going to sure that up because there's going to be a lot of weight on it. As you can see right here, we created another little rectangular box. This is going to give us that L shape and make the bottom of the column the same width as the full-size mattress. And we're using 1/2-inch plywood just like we did on the bottom of the twin-size mattress platform. You can always use 3/4-inch plywood as well. We just didn't want the columns to be more than 5 inches wide, and doing 3/4-inch was going to add to the weight, and we knew we had to carry these up a flight of stairs. The majority of the screws that we used on this build were 3-inch to hold all the 2x4s together, and then we used 1 5/8 to screw down the 1/2-inch plywood. Right here, we're using 1x6 maple that we ripped down to about 4.5 inches for the face trims. You only have to do the front side and the tops of the columns because the bottoms are going to be screwed to the floor and the backs are going to be up against the wall. Now for the stairs, I had to put a lot of thought into these. I was trying to come up with a design that was not only strong, but not overly heavy, since we did have to carry these up a big flight of stairs. And I also wanted to figure out how to make them comfortable, but minimize the amount of space they took up. For the main construction, we used 2x4s. Each step is about 10.5 inches tall, with each tread being about 11.25. We did use some 1/2-inch plywood on one side of the stairs because part of this side was going to be showing after we installed. For the stairs, we used glue and 1 3/4-inch 18 gauge trim nails to tack them in. I wouldn't do this if you were going to stain these or clear coat these, but since we were painting them, we were just going to putty the holes and no worries. Also, since kids love to hurt themselves, you want to keep in mind that these corners can be pretty sharp, so we took an 1/8-inch round over bit and rounded those out. These right here are the face frames for the drawers. We built these like a traditional face frame, like you would on any cabinet, by using pocket holes and glue. All right, moving on to the drawers. Now these drawers are pretty big. We made these for like extra blankets and toys and stuff like that. So these are about 30 by 30 and are about 10.5 inches deep. We use 3/4 inch plywood for the bottoms and 1 by 12 soft maple for the sides. For the drawer facings, we built these almost like a shaker style panel. We have a double phase router bit here, which will cut our mortise and our tenons. It has a slight round over on the inside, and we did a slight round over on the outside to match other things in the room. Now for the assembly portion of this, we're using 5/8 18 gauge trim nails and our Tight Bond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. For the center panels, we're using a 1/4 inch plywood with an MDF core. So again, we're going to use our 1/8 inch roundover bit just like we did on our stair treads. This is going to give it a nice clean look, and it's also going to match some other existing doors they have in their house. So the way we designed this bunk bed system, we had full set of stairs on one end and we wanted a ladder on the other end. Materials for this was 1 by 4 soft maple. We used our glue and trim nails to tack it together and screws to sure it up. Last thing we had to build was the face frame comboed with railing for the upper bunks. As you will see here in a sec, we made the bottom panel the same as we did the drawer facings, and then we used pocket holes to devise this railing system, and that's how we attached it to the lower panel. Once we got it attached, we used pocket hole plugs and glue to fill up the holes, and then we sanded everything down and got ready for primer. For the primer, we used Sherwin-Williams Premium Wall and Wood Primer. After you've done all your primering, I would suggest doing minimum 1 coat, sometimes 2, depending on the wood species you're spraying. Once you get it all done and it's dried, we're going to come back with some 220 grit sandpaper, sand everything down, and get ready for that first coat of paint. Well, as we wrap this video up, as always, big thank you to everyone that took the time to watch it. I really hope y'all like how it turned out. I know we did. If y'all had any questions or anything that wasn't clear, leave some comments below. I'd love to help you out, and good luck on your future projects.